She can't resist you, not because of your looks, your money, or the way you dress, but because of something far deeper. Something ancient. Something that Marcus Aurelius understood over 2,000 years ago. He knew that true power is not found in what you say to please others, but in what you choose not to say when your emotions are screaming for attention. In a world where every man chases, pleads, and performs for validation, the one who can remain silent, calm, and grounded becomes magnetic. Women feel this difference instantly. They sense when a man's peace can't be disturbed. And it's not arrogance, it's mastery. The kind of mastery Marcus Aurelius wrote about when he said, "You have power over your mind and not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This video isn't about manipulation or tricks. It's about understanding the psychology of presence. Because when you speak from a calm, stoic state, every word you say carries weight. You stop trying to convince her. You stop trying to prove your worth. You simply become a man who knows it. So today, let's uncover the Stoic secret Marcus Aurelius lived by. The one that makes a woman stop, listen, and feel your energy before you even say a word. Part 1. The power of controlled speech. Marcus Aurelius believed that the tongue is a servant of the mind, not its master. He wrote that a man should speak only what is necessary, and speak it without disturbance. Why? Because speech is energy, and most men waste it trying to prove themselves. Think about it. The moment you try to convince someone to like you, you lose the very strength that would make them want you in the first place. The man who constantly explains, justifies, or seeks validation through words slowly destroys his aura of mystery and power. A Stoic man, however, doesn't speak to impress. He speaks to express truth calmly without ego. When he says something, it lands. When he says nothing, his silence speaks louder. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself to remain still amidst chaos. He faced betrayal, war, loss, and pressure. Yet he remained calm because he understood something most men don't. Your emotions are temporary visitors, but your control defines you. When you speak from a place of inner control, even a simple sentence becomes magnetic. You might say something as subtle as, "I understand." And yet, that small phrase, spoken calmly, without neediness, carries more emotional gravity than 100 lines of flattery. A woman feels that. Because women don't fall for words, and they fall for the energy behind them. When you speak with emotional discipline, you're not trying to win her. You're showing her that she can't shake you. That's what truly draws her in. Marcus Aurelius would remind himself daily, be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. He wasn't talking about punishment. He meant self-command. The ability to regulate your reactions, your words, and your tone even when your emotions flare. That is what separates a man from a boy. Because any man can raise his voice, argue, or chase attention, but only a Stoic man can pause, breathe, and choose his response, knowing that restraint creates respect. This restraint is what makes her feel you. When you speak less, your silence forces her imagination to work. She starts to think about what you're feeling, what you're hiding, and what you might say next. That curiosity becomes attraction. That mystery becomes power. Part 2. The Stoic presence that commands respect. Marcus Aurelius didn't charm people with sweet words. He influenced them with his presence. The same principle applies to attraction today. You can't force someone to respect you, but you can become someone whose energy demands respect naturally. Presence begins with your inner state. When your mind is restless, your speech becomes restless. When your heart is calm, your energy radiates certainty. And that's what people feel first. A Stoic man walks into a room differently. He doesn't rush to speak. He observes. He studies the atmosphere, the tone, the rhythm. And when he finally speaks, his words feel deliberate, like each one was chosen carefully. That kind of energy doesn't just attract women, it disarms them. Because most women are used to men who talk too much, promise too much, or try too hard. But when she meets a man who seems unaffected, who listens more than he talks, it unsettles her in the most powerful way. That's when curiosity transforms into desire. She starts wondering, why isn't he trying to impress me? What's he thinking? Why does he seem so unbothered? And the moment she starts thinking about you, she's already drawn in. Marcus Aurelius taught that the art of mastery lies in emotional detachment. To him, control wasn't suppression, it was freedom from reactivity. When you master that, you no longer say things out of fear or insecurity. You speak because you mean it, and that sincerity is irresistible. Every Stoic understood this truth. A calm man is a dangerous man, because he cannot be provoked. He doesn't seek approval, and in his silence others project meaning, value, and power onto him. When you speak with that calmness, when your words come from peace, not pressure, she feels your steadiness. You become the emotional anchor in the storm of her thoughts, and that's something no charm or appearance can replace. So remember this. It's not the line you say that makes her resist or surrender. It's the energy you carry when you say it. Speak less, mean more, and let your calmness do the chasing. There's a reason silence intimidates people. Most can't handle it. They need noise, validation, or conversation to feel important. But a Stoic man finds strength in quiet. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." That line holds the entire secret to masculine attraction. When you become something, you don't have to speak it. Your presence announces it for you. When a man stops trying to describe his worth and starts living it, his silence becomes powerful. You don't have to tell her you're confident. Your tone already does. You don't have to say you're in control. Your calmness already proves it. Marcus understood this deeply. He led armies, ruled an empire, faced betrayals, and yet his journals were filled with reminders to stay centered, not boastful. Because power that needs to be spoken isn't real power, it's performance. Women sense this instantly. When you talk too much, they feel the insecurity behind the noise. When you say less, they lean in to listen. She starts to wonder what's behind that composure. Why aren't you rushing to impress? Why are you so still? When everyone else tries so hard, that stillness is magnetic. A man who speaks with purpose makes every word feel sacred. He doesn't rush to fill the silence, he owns it. Because silence is the throne of a king, not the cage of a coward. You see, attraction isn't built through words. It's built through how you carry your energy. A Stoic man knows his worth, not because he says it, but because he doesn't have to. And that's what makes her chase what she can't define. Part 4. The Stoic Energy Women. Crave women don't fall in love with perfection. They fall in love with certainty. And nothing communicates certainty more than emotional stability. Marcus Aurelius understood that when he wrote, "You become what you give your attention to." If your attention is always on her reactions, her approval, her validation, then your power belongs to her. But if your attention stays grounded in yourself, your values, your path, then you become the gravity that pulls others in. The truth is, women are emotional creatures by nature. They move with the flow of feelings. When they meet a man who stands still in his essence, who doesn't bend with every emotion or opinion, it awakens something deep in them. It feels safe yet dangerous, calm yet commanding, predictable yet mysterious. That's the energy of a Stoic man, the kind of man Marcus Aurelius was describing when he wrote about living in agreement with nature. He meant living in harmony with your own principles, not chasing external approval. When you're grounded in your inner world, your outer world starts to orbit around you. She begins to feel your composure. She feels your restraint. She feels your control, and it draws her closer even when she doesn't understand why. Because women don't crave drama. They crave depth. And nothing feels deeper than a man who refuses to lose himself, even in desire, when she sees that her beauty, her charm, or even her silence can't shake your peace. That's when she feels something rare, respect. And once a woman respects you, attraction becomes effortless. Marcus Aurelius didn't chase power. He became it by mastering himself. And you do the same when you choose to stay calm instead of reactive, composed instead of emotional. Because every time you react, you give her control. But every time you stay still, you remind her that you can't be controlled. That's what makes her lean in. That's what makes her listen. That's what makes her feel your presence, without you saying a word. Part 5. The art of speaking from stillness. There's a difference between speaking to fill silence and speaking from stillness. Most men speak to fill space, to prove they exist. But a Stoic man speaks only when his soul has something to express. Marcus Aurelius practiced this discipline daily. He reminded himself not to speak out of anger, vanity, or insecurity. Every word had to pass through the filter of reason before leaving his mouth. Now imagine applying that in today's world, a world filled with noise, debates, and endless validation seeking. When you speak calmly, slowly, and intentionally, your voice cuts through chaos like a sword. That's what Stoic speech is: simple, clear, firm. When you say something like, "That's your opinion," and you don't argue or explain, you communicate unshakable control. A woman reads that tone instantly. It tells her, this man doesn't need to be understood to be sure of himself. That kind of composure is irresistible. Marcus Aurelius would tell himself, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. That line alone can change the way you speak forever, because every time you choose truth over attention, you grow in power. And power isn't loud, it's quiet, disciplined, and focused. When you speak less but mean more, people start to listen differently. They feel your words. They believe them, because your tone carries conviction, not desperation. You see, the strongest men don't chase words. They become the meaning behind them. Their speech doesn't entertain. It influences. It doesn't beg. It commands. That's why when a Stoic man finally says something, even something small, it lands like thunder in a silent sky. She can't resist that energy because it feels rare in a world of noise. And she'll remember your words, not because they were poetic, but because they were true. Marcus Aurelius faced storms greater than any relationship or rejection. He led armies, watched friends betray him, and ruled during plagues and chaos. Yet in his private writings, he never spoke of revenge or resentment. He wrote about discipline, duty, and detachment. Why? Because he knew that emotional control is the highest form of strength. In modern times, the same principle applies in attraction. When a woman senses that her silence, her mood, or her withdrawal can shake you, she loses respect. But when she realizes that you remain centered no matter what she does, she starts to feel something she can't explain. She feels curiosity, admiration, even desire. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed." Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. That line defines masculine mastery. It means no one, not even the most beautiful woman, can control your emotional state. You decide how to respond. You decide what matters. Women test this constantly, often without knowing it. They want to see if the man standing before them is stable or reactive. If he can hold his ground when things get tense, or if he collapses under pressure. And when you stay calm, not cold, not distant, but composed, you separate yourself from 99% of men she's ever met, because real attraction isn't built on compliments. It's built on certainty. When you look at her and your energy says, "You can come or go, but my peace stays the same," that's when she starts to chase your calmness. A Stoic man doesn't punish or reward people emotionally. He stays consistent. He's not moved by manipulation. He's moved by truth, and that kind of steadiness awakens something primal in a woman. It tells her she's found someone unshakable, a man she can trust, even when she's emotional or chaotic. That's the paradox of Stoicism and attraction. When you stop trying to win her, she starts trying to understand you. And when she can't fully understand you, she can't stop thinking about you. Part 7. The voice of calm authority. Marcus Aurelius ruled millions without shouting. He didn't demand loyalty. He inspired it. That's the same kind of authority that turns ordinary men into unforgettable ones. When you speak and your voice carries stillness, it commands attention naturally. The Stoic man doesn't rush. He pauses before he speaks. He listens fully, and when he does speak, it's never from insecurity. It's from awareness. Every time you open your mouth, ask yourself, am I speaking from emotion or from truth? If it's emotion, stay silent. If it's truth, say it calmly, once, and let silence do the rest. That's how Marcus Aurelius led. That's how modern Stoic men attract. Because women may forget your looks or your possessions, but they'll never forget how they felt when you spoke. When your tone is grounded, deep, slow, confident, it tells her you're not performing. You're not seeking approval. You're living from inner power, and that's what makes every word irresistible. She won't remember the exact line you said. She'll remember the presence behind it, the stillness, the calm dominance that comes only from a man who rules himself. That's what Marcus Aurelius meant when he wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, because your words come from your thoughts, and your tone reveals whether you control them or they control you. So, speak less. Observe more, and when you finally do speak, let your calmness echo louder than your voice." Ending. The Stoic secret to irresistible energy. Here's the truth Marcus Aurelius understood, and the truth most men never will. You don't attract by force. You attract by presence. You don't have to chase what's meant for you. You don't have to explain your value. You just have to live it. Every time you speak from calmness, every time you respond with discipline instead of emotion, every time you hold silence instead of begging for attention, you build the kind of energy that cannot be ignored. She can't resist that, because deep down she's not drawn to your words, she's drawn to your peace, to your stillness, to your control. That's what makes her feel safe, intrigued, and alive, all at once. That's what Marcus Aurelius lived by, and that's what will set you apart in a world full of noise and weakness. So remember this. Don't chase. Don't argue. Don't explain. Simply become so grounded in who you are that the world, and every woman in it, feels it without you saying a word. That's the ultimate Stoic secret. That's the kind of presence that never fades, and that's the kind of man she'll never forget.